You ready?
Yep.
Okay. We were talking about the meeting at the school, and I think the jury's heard a lot about that meeting. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward. You go back to work, right?
Yep.
We saw the exhibit of you walking back in.
Correct.
Okay, we heard Amanda Holland testify about how she gives you some advice. Do you recall her giving you advice?
I don't.
Is she somebody you go to for advice?
No.
Why not?
We were never like friends outside of work, and she was Andy's administrative assistant, so it was just formalities really with her. We didn't really have anything in common. Her child was real young. I had a teenager.
Okay. All right, I want to go to the time where you heard there was an open shooter. The jury's already heard how you heard about that, okay? And we know you got in your car, you drove up to Oxford, right?
Correct.
Okay. We heard about the description of that caravan. Did you see that caravan?
Yeah, I joined it. It's a black SUV, and that was my fastest way to get to the school.
Okay, so you actually were a part of that with all the law enforcement officers all headed up.
Yep, I just kind of jumped in.
What is that, Lapeer Road?
It started on 75. I work at Square Lake and Telegraph, so I got 75 from Square Lake there. And it was well before the M24 exit. I would say about a quarter of a mile. Traffic was backed up.
Okay. Now, you sent a text, and if you need to see it, let me know. You sent a text to your son that says, "You can talk to us." Why did you send him that?
After I left the meeting, I knew that he was sad about things, and I just wanted to let him know that he can talk to us about anything. Just wanted to make sure I opened that door. Just let him know that we're there for him. We love him.
Okay, and he said he loved you. Do you recall that?
I do.
Okay, was there anything unusual about that?
Yeah, he's at that age where it was hard to get I love yous back out of him. For me to open my text and just see him randomly saying I love you was abnormal for him.
Okay, did you think anything at that point?
No, not right at that point. I think I said text back I love you too. I don't remember. I believe I did. Yeah.
Okay. And later in the thread, you say, don't do it. So when you hear there's an open shooter at the school, I want to know in your mind, what do you believe is happening?
Well, my husband had called me when I was still at work, and he said there's an active shooter at Oxford High School, and I can't get a hold of Ethan. And that's when I opened my phone and I saw the I love you text. And then I texted him, are you okay? In the process of it, I was getting my stuff and running out the door, letting my boss know that I had to go to my son's school. It was on 75 when I was trying to get to the exit that my husband called me and he asked me where I hid the bullets, and I told him, and then he said the gun is missing. So instantly, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's got the gun. I didn't actually think he was at the school shooting it. I thought maybe he walked home and got the gun and was in the field by the school. I didn't imagine my son actually going into a school and shooting. And then when we got more updates, I was like, oh my gosh, he's a school shooter. He's going to kill himself, because in my mind, that's what school shooters have done. They've killed themselves after. So I yelled in my talk to text, Ethan, don't do it, because I thought he was going to kill himself.
At that point, did you think Ethan had killed anyone?
No, I didn't even think he shot anyone at that point.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Did you believe he injured anyone or shot anyone, did anything?
No. I thought he was going to kill himself.
Okay. So you find out the gun's missing, so you do think he's got the gun, but is going to turn it on himself.
Right.
Okay. So where did you, at that point you went to the substation? I think we saw the video.
Yeah, my husband had called me when I got close to the house, and he said the substation just called and they want us to come down there. They have my son. And so I picked him up on the way, and we drove to the substation together.
When you say picked him up, picked who up?
The my son was in custody, basically. The
Right,
substation.
so who did you pick
I
up?
picked up my husband, sorry.
Okay, you picked up James. Okay, what was going through your mind at this point, going from picking James up to the substation?
I don't know. I was just, I asked my husband, I was like, is he alive? And he said, oh no, we're going down there. I didn't really know what to think. I was kind of it was kind of hazy. It was kind of, everything was a little surreal. I still didn't believe that he actually shot anybody or was in the school. I just knew that there was gunfire. I didn't know the extent of it at all.
So when you're at the substation, did you asked them about fatalities? We saw it on there.
That wasn't at the subs. Oh yeah, I did.
Okay, but you didn't get an answer, right?
No.
At that point, were you thinking that anyone was injured or that anyone was hurt?
He did say there was injuries, and at that point, my mind went to, we can handle injuries. We can handle injuries. I went into kind of like go mode, like what do we have to do? My son's arrested. I did not think there would be any fatalities.
You didn't think there would be any injuries?
No, I didn't think there would be injuries. I didn't think there'd be anything, but I just went into that mode, like we can handle injuries, and we can figure this out and go from there.
Okay. We saw the interview at the substation.
Yes.
I'm not going to go through all that with you, okay? After that, you go to your house. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the next thing, police are at your door.
We were at the house for a minute, and we were putting some hot water on the oven, on the stove. My husband walked out back to the side of the house. I saw him walk towards the end of the driveway through my kitchen window. I was sitting in my kitchen on my phone talking to my dad, and I realized my husband was gone for a little bit longer. I didn't see him walk back, so I walked out the front door of my house.
And what'd you see?
There was a bunch of officers with guns drawn on me.
Have you ever been in that position before?
No, I have not.
What did you think when that happened?
I don't know. I remember just dropping my phone and putting my hands up and then being handcuffed. It all happened so fast. It was shocking.
Okay, we saw you sit in the car with James with the handcuffs, right?
Correct.
So we don't need to go through all that.
No.
After that, we saw a video where you're sitting in the car and you talk to police for a long time. There's a lot of long pauses in it, right?
Right.
Okay. I'm not going to go through that whole video right now, okay? But if there's something you need, you can let me know. During the substation meeting, while you're with Joe Bryan,
Judge, this is direct examination.
I'm
What, where,
I'm
when, what
asking a
happened?
question. I'm just putting us in a space. I'm going to ask a non-leading question. Okay. So we all can see that you are using your phone while you are speaking to law enforcement. I want to know what you're doing on your phone. It's not leading.
What were you
And the
doing
whole
on your
jury
phone?
can hear you constantly saying
What were
object.
you doing on your phone?
First I was looking for the paper to show the officer that was sitting next to me. The first one I pulled up, I couldn't get to zoom in, so I had to search through my emails for the other one to get that pulled up. Once I got my phone back, I'm pretty sure I was going through the massive amount of text messages and Facebook messages I was receiving from family and friends asking if my son was okay, because at this point in time nobody knew anything. I was also messaging with my boss, who happens to be an attorney, trying to get his advice on what to do. I was on my phone, I'm not going to deny it. I was probably looking at text messages and Facebook messages and just trying to get updates on anything.
Is that the same or different when you're in the back of the patrol car?
What do you mean?
There's a point where you're in the patrol car by yourself.
Right.
Okay, you've got your phone. Tell us what you're doing on your phone at that point.
I know I was messaging with my dad a lot because I had dropped the phone when I was talking to him and I got arrested, so I was filling him in what was going on. I was also messaging immediate family members and close friends that my son was okay, but he was the shooter. So that's mainly what I was doing.
What was your state of mind like at that time?
I don't know. I was It was pretty numb. I didn't really believe. I had a hard time. I don't know. I was numb. I didn't really believe like everything was happening the way it was. It was surreal. My mind was in all different places.
Okay, so when did you find out there were fatalities?
In the back of the car when I was by myself, and I asked the officer, and he told me there's 4 fatalities.
That's on the video.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you questions about that, okay? All I can hear is object, and it's very distracting. I would ask them to write notes or something because it's very distracting.
Okay, I can hear them, but just try to keep your voices down.
I didn't say the word object.
Okay.
Okay.
We're not saying object.
Okay. Well, she can hear you saying something apparently. So.
Okay. So this is the time where you find out there's fatalities. I'm going to move on to a different topic. On your cell phone, do you have a habit of deleting messages?
Usually it's threads.
Okay, explain to the jury what you do, because go ahead and explain.
Well, on Facebook, I do a lot of Facebook Marketplace, so I get a lot of messages.
What's Facebook Marketplace?
Where you buy and sell things. So the first main screen of my phone will get clogged up with Marketplace messages, so I'll just delete threads so my main people come up that I talk to on a regular basis. If that starts getting full, I delete those threads too. Same thing with text messages. I delete threads until the main people I talk to are up on the main screen, so I don't have to scroll down to find them.
Okay, so is that a habit that you started that day, that month? When did you start doing this deleting text thing?
Pretty much when I got a cell phone. I've always done that.
Okay. Did you go out of your way, in this case, to delete like certain messages?
Not intentionally, no.
And so when there's a message they say you deleted that indicates the gun was locked, do you recall deleting that message?
No, I completely forgot I sent that message.
Or unsending it, I'm sorry.
No, I don't remember.
Okay, there's another message that is unsent talking about we did everything right, that kind of thing. Do you recall unsending that message?
No.
Okay. So when law enforcement got found that there was a lot of deleted content, does that surprise you in any way?
No.
And you don't dispute, you've seen a lot of text message threads that have been admitted. You agree those were a lot of the messages going on, is that right?
Right.
And a lot of those are what were deleted.
Correct.
Okay. So after you're interviewed, there was a point where the police tell you and James you guys need to leave the house, is that right?
Yes.
Where did you guys go?
We went up to the first time we ended up going to the Holiday Inn Express and sitting in the parking lot trying to figure out what was going on, waiting for them to call us.
Was there a point you had to go back to the house?
Yes, they called us to come back to the house.
Did you know why you're going back?
They told us that the search was over and they just wanted us to come back to the house.
Okay, so when you got back to the house, what happened?
We went into the house and then the detective asked for our cell phones.
And were you reluctant about giving over your cell phone?
Yes, I was.
Okay, why is that?
Sounds bad, but my life is in my cell phone, my contacts are in my cell phone, everything I need is in my cell phone. I don't memorize phone numbers, I have an emergency going on, and they're taking my only means of contact away from me.
Okay, there was a suggestion to go get burner phones or track phones, prepaid phones.
Correct.
Did you do that?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so there was evidence, you went to Walmart in Lapeer, does that sound right?
Yep.
And we saw the receipts.